Y'all's about to get touched Ninja Pilgrim style.
White meat, dark meat, all will be carved.
What kind of a Thanksgiving dinner is this? Where's the turkey, Chuck? Where's the mashed potatoes? Where's the cranberry sauce? Where's the pumpkin pie?
All right, what's up, nerds? Welcome back to the episode 9. We're almost in the double digits, you guys, of Nerds with Attitude podcast. Welcome, guys.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
We got a full panel today for this Thanksgiving episode. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Let's start first on my left. We're joined by
Brian Buckley.
Hey, Brian.
Hi. How the hell are you?
I'm good.
It's Miggs. I'm back.
And Austin.
Andrew.
What's up, guys? All right, let's get into it. Again, this is our Thanksgiving episode, but we don't really have anything Thanksgiving themed. But we are all gathered around. We're going to have a nice feast today, and we're going to feast on nerdy stuff. Is that no? All right. Let's just get into TV first. There's the Ash versus the Evil Dead, and it has finally come out. I think we're up to about 4 episodes that have aired so far, maybe 5 as by the time this podcast
I'm one
comes out.
episode behind.
It is so fucking good. Oh my god, it is good. What do you guys think?
Getting better. Was not sold on the first episode. Thought it was nothing but fan service.
Yeah, that first episode was kind of like.
It was kind of
janky
like, really? And
Yeah, but I thought that was okay. That that they're letting you know right up top that, hey, we're going to give you what you want. This is the character that you recognize. These are the things that you love, and it's gonna be awesome. It's not we're reimagining Ash in a modern time.
right, but for me, it's still not staying with canon because they can't use any of the assets from Army of Darkness.
Right, because was that Paramount, I think?
Well, it's Universal.
Universal, I mean, yeah, and they're a bunch of poo-poo heads.
And so they're just like, well, we own the rights to it. You can't use anything from it. So, there's no robot hand yet type thing. It just doesn't connect to...
Well,
it's like that chapter never existed.
Well, I hope this series goes on to be huge, run for multiple seasons, and make a buttload of money, and Universal can just sit on their thumb, not
For
making
that
a
I
goddamn
totally agree
dime.
with. That I agree with. But yeah, it's definitely getting better. I have stuck with it for the past 4 episodes. I intend to watch the 5th. Once I get through 3 or 4, I know that's about where I'm going to be with it.
Okay.
If it sucks, I'm like, I'm not going to waste my time.
Well, like you
This
gave
is
up on
keeping me-
Fear the Walking Dead after 3 or 4.
Well, that's absolutely... I'm done. No, I'm good.
No, what do you guys think about with them kind of doing the ensemble cast with it? Between the co-workers, now the detective.
I think it makes sense for TV. I'm waiting to see where the bigger cast goes with the detective character, in particular with her storyline. I'm totally fine with Ash having a couple of sidekicks.
Yeah.
Lucy Lawless is just now starting to get shown in the season, and I guess she's chasing Ash for some reason. So, which you're a little bit further behind. That's not really a spoiler. So
I'm just like 1 episode behind. So
I want to Austin, Andrew, have you guys watched it at all, or are you waiting to catch up?
No, I'm
on
going to
Ash?
catch up. Probably do this nice little binge watching one day coming up probably this week.
It's a quick, easy watch. It goes quick.
5 hours done out of the way, whatever
I mean,
it takes.
surprisingly,
Easy
just
to
the
go.
fact that it's a half hour.
Yeah, but it is Stars, so it's on cable, so it's a solid 30 minutes. It's
Yeah.
none of this prime, network 20-minute bullshit. So
Yeah, the first episode, I was like,
first episode was a little bit longer, plus it had a little bit of a little featurette at the end of it, kind of showing the making of.
I'm just hoping maybe they go for an hour later
I doubt
on
it.
second. To me, it's too short. Like, I like it, but it's just too short. Especially coming home after a long day at work, it's over.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with
I
that.
feel I think an hour now, if it were a network hour, which is 40 minutes, I
Yeah.
think that would be a really good length, 45 minutes, because I think the show would be exhausting 60 minutes straight,
You think?
because it is the most violent, bloody show. I will actually say at the beginning of episode 3,
Okay.
they do a little recap, like, here's what you've seen so far, and all it is the kill scene from every 3 episodes so far.
Yeah.
And it is the goriest piece
Blood
of 60
gushing
minutes of
everywhere.
TV you've
So-
ever seen in your life. It is
so cool.
awesome. There's gallons and gallons of blood that are
Well, nice to know. Thanks a heads up there. Appreciate that.
oh, it's the best. Yeah. Austin, are you?
This is one of those things that, when I tell people this, they gasp in shock and horror, but I have never seen any of it. Well, other than small clips of a couple of the movies. But it always seemed like one of those things that is a lot of fun, and one of these days I want to check out. Just not a big horror fan in general, and I don't really like gore so much as like suspense and stuff. But it always seemed like a fun franchise, and I know a lot of my friends love it in the way that I love things like Star Wars and Transformers and stuff. So there's passion there, and anytime there's passion there, it's got to be a quality product. So it's been one of those things for 30 years now. I've been telling myself I got to get around to seeing some of this stuff, and I've seen Lucy Lawless and Bruce and everybody show up on like Colbert Report and some of these shows, recently promoting this, and it seems like they're having tons of fun, and the fans are all excited. And even if I never get around to seeing any of this, this is one of those things that I root for. Like, okay, it's great that in this world that something like this can happen, and fans can be, satisfied in that way. And you talk about fan service and stuff, that would be a concern. But it's a double-edged sword. It's like, be careful what you ask for, because if you want something that's, fan servicey and then you get it and then you're not happy with that, then, think twice before you ask for it next time. And that's actually a concern of mine about Star Wars, Force Awakens. I think people are really excited about it, but I'm also worried, they purposely set aside the stuff that George Lucas had handed over to Disney because they wanted to do something for the fans. And,
Which I'm on board with.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a fan of what George Lucas produced out of his own brain. And
Shock.
Well, I think I like what he's produced from his brain. However, I don't like... He's unremarkable, quite honestly. I mean, if you I mentioned this on Facebook post a couple days ago. If you go back and watch A New Hope, there's nothing remarkable about it. You go back and you watch Phantom Menace, there's definitely nothing remotely fantastic about that. There's no good shoots. There's no good shots. I mean, there's no good camera angles. If anything, it's beautiful, but that's about it. There's nothing creative about it. He does not know how to talk to his actors.
Correct. He's a terrible director. I think he's a good producer.
He's selfish.
Yeah.
And that's his downfall. I mean, granted, I can agree with it. This is his baby. He should be able to tell the story that he wants to tell. However, a movie about trade negotiations isn't something I want to watch.
No, it's for the kids.
It's for the kid. And Jar Jar Binks.
Kids love trade negotiations.
But that's why I'm concerned that Disney just cast aside. He may have had a good plot line in place and take it out of his hands and let Disney actually make it. That might have been really awesome. But, now I'm dying to know what that story would have been. And maybe,
well, I'm sure that'll eventually come out in the wash
comics
many
or something
years from now.
Yeah.
But as is, it's what I have good feelings about this.
I'm beyond excited. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I've got my ticket already.
I know I'm gonna love it. I know I'm gonna love it. But I'm just already preparing myself for, after 15 years of fans bitching about the prequels. Now, if we actually give them what they want, if fans still bitch about this, I'm going to throw my hands up and be like, you guys are a bunch of assholes.
Yeah,
nothing's going to please you.
But it's regardless. Fanboys are always going to bitch regardless of what's going on.
You know what? Fanboys are, but real fans are not. That's the difference.
Well, I mean, like me personally, I'm not an uber fan of Star Wars. Okay, I enjoy the movies. I enjoy... the effects, things like Phantom Menace. You're right. Sucks balls.
It's terrible.
Okay. The original trilogy, I enjoyed. I was small. It caught my wonder. It made me interested in space. When they did
made me interested in filmmaking.
But I'm not so nerd angry about, okay, well, Lucas lost this and this director's doing this. So when I go see like Star Wars, since it's supposed to be this epic anthology of legendary trilogies and all this, 15 years later we're getting the rest of them. I want to go and see the movie just like I said on the prior podcast, for the first time, just go, okay, I either liked it or I want to be able to grip the seat and be like, wow, that was the most amazing thing I ever did.
Right. I want to hit the ground running. I want to go to this and hit the ground running. The prequels, I didn't. I was so far stuck with, really? We're doing this?
You got to love those midichlorians,
why is this here? Midichlorians. What the hell is a midichlorian and why is it here?
You know what movie kind of did that as an adult? Kind of took me by surprise and was like, I'm really experiencing something new for the first time. Was Fifth Element.
Yeah,
Fifth
It felt
Element's
like a
fantastic
fully
movie.
created world. It was things I
Absolutely.
hadn't seen before. Sure, it was a sci-fi fantasy kind of thing, but like that was that moment of like, holy crap, I really like this thing. This is great.
Right.
So I think maybe
was
that's kind of
that
what you're talking
including
about.
Chris Tucker?
Yes.
He's
He's amazing.
It was.
That's his finest performance. Come on.
All right, so we got way off the topic off of TV there. Also on TV, it was announced that Friday the 13th is coming to TV. So Brian, this has got to be a mixed blessing for you, right?
It's bittersweet.
Brian, if you don't know, because he's only been on the podcast once, is sort of our horror expert. And
Friday the 13th
how many Jason masks are in your house currently?
5 or 6.
Dozen.
That's all.
Yeah, there's several of them. Yeah, I make them, I sell them, I enjoy them, and you gotta have a scary guy that you like, and I like Jason. So
what the bittersweet part is that Friday the 13th is coming to TV, and it's going to be on the CW, which currently is showing Arrow and The Flash.
Which are great shows.
They do young, pretty people shows. And Friday the 13th are great. Put a bunch of young, pretty people in it and then hack them to death. I'm totally on board with that.
That's
Are you going to
cool.
do that for 45 minutes every week?
But also...
how are you going to do that in a PG-13 environment?
I see the CW...
Are you going to hear the machete hit the skull, or are you going to see the blood squirt out everywhere? That's the thing.
This CW to me seems like it's a station kind of geared towards like junior high kids and
Right.
very tame, very, very clean, family-friendly entertainment. You can't do a horror TV show.
Yeah, you can't
Not
take
Don't
effectively
forget the
anyway.
drama love story part of every damn
Of course.
CW show.
Gotta have that teen angst. You
Jason,
know?
I
Gotta have it
love
on
you.
Thanks,
Exactly.
Mom.
Well,
Right.
this is finally going to answer
Spoiler.
that long, decades-old question of whether Jason and his machete are finally going to get it together. Will they or won't they?
I'm
Let's
smiling
take
and
another
laughing. I
stab
should
at
actually
it.
laugh outside. All right, so we'll follow up on that at least one episode once that comes out. That'll be out a little bit later this year. And yeah, I'm kind of hoping it doesn't make it. But the new to Netflix that came out on November 20th is Jessica Jones, which a couple of us here have seen the first couple episodes. Now, the whole season is out on Netflix, just like Daredevil. It's got the same kind of polished feel, good production value to it. And Andrew, you've seen it start to finish.
I have, but I know some of you guys here, so I kind of want to don't spoil it all though. But if you were a fan of the Alias comic book that came back about 15 years ago, Brian Michael Bendis, so for the most part, it stays pretty much true to Jessica Jones, the character from the comic book, though. I can just give that little spoiler on that, though, which actually is a good thing.
Now you say Alias the comic. Is that different from Alias the TV show?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
So
I don't know. I didn't read it or watch that show.
Right. Well, that was a whole different thing here. Yeah, no, this is not no spy stuff here. It's pretty much Jessica Jones is a PI who used to be a superhero. She was, and then
She still has superpowers.
No, she has powers, but she was, you can say in terms, in quotes, failed superhero. She tried it, and
Didn't like it.
well, something happened.
Didn't do very well.
Something happened. Okay, I just
That's
threw
all.
that there.
That's hinted at in the. I think
Yeah.
by episode 3,
Okay.
it's you're getting her backstory one little piece at a time per episode.
Okay.
While at the same time, I just blanked on his name. The Doctor Who, David Tennant.
Okay.
Plays the bad guy in this Kilgrave, and he is great.
Really?
He's not in very much the first 2 or 3 episodes until
Okay.
until he really starts getting his reveal. But the little bits that he's in there, seeing him play a really psychotic bad guy is great. And Kilgrave is a fucked up villain, man. He's
Really?
yeah, because he gets in your mind and makes you do stuff, and then when he's done with you, he basically destroys your life. Either by
kills you and puts you in the grave.
literally like makes you
Yeah.
just walk off a roof, or he made
Okay.
for this is not giving anything away. He made one character donate both his kidneys. Which gave that guy a stroke, and now he lives as a vegetable in a chair for the rest of his life, tied to a machine. So I mean, he's a honked up bad guy. So we're going to be talking about more of that probably next month. I think most of us will have all seen the whole series by then. And Andrew, did you have any other?
Just a little note on that, though. It's also going to be a jumping board for
Luke
Cage?
Cage
as well. There's also some other heroes I'll just hint at that are in there as well. They get a little screen time on there that also kind of hints to what's eventually going to build up to be Netflix's Defenders team.
Oh, okay, who's on the Defenders? Is that the Punisher? Is that one of them?
Well, possibly him, and there's also, without being obvious, though, there's going to be a Hellcat.
Okay.
So we'll just leave it out there for you guys to kind of wait and see that for you.
And without giving away, some of them are sort of introduced in through this series.
Oh yeah, this gets sort of like the much like how in a way Daredevil kind of hints to other things down the road. Just like there's gonna be a springboard for that though.
Sweet.
So it'd be pretty cool.
All right. Well, we'll be keeping an eye on that, and let us know. Let us know on the Facebook or the Twitter or the Instagram what you guys think about the stuff that we talk about. Love to know your guys' feedback. Yes, we've done almost 10 of these episodes, and we're starting finally to get some feedback from the people who are listening. So we very much appreciate that.
Talk to us. We're very.
You can reach out to us Facebook, Nerds with Attitude. We are also on Instagram, Nerds with Attitude, or you can reach us on Twitter, which is a little more difficult. But Migs, what is it?
It's Migs_NWA Podcast.
Okay. Yeah, every single incarnation of NWA Podcast or Nerds with Attitude, anything like that on Twitter was sucked up a long time ago, which that continues my feelings that Twitter is fucking done, and I hate it. I think it's a worthless social media, but people are on it, and we love you for it, so not really.
Oh, great. We just lost the Democrat now.
We lost both those people from Twitter.
That's it.
It's all right.
Damn it.
Son of a...
While we're talking about viewing experience, a lot of good movies it's the holidays, so movies are starting to come out. We did episode 8. Me and Mike and Scott sat down and did a very in-depth review of Spectre. So check that out if you haven't already to find out what our opinions were on spy movies. We also talked about Man from U.N.C.L.E. in that episode to compare and contrast a good versus bad spy movie. You can find out which was which. Who saw documentary? Austin.
I did.
What did you see?
I saw. It's gonna draw a blank. Oh, it's called All Things Must Pass. It's a documentary made by Tom Hanks' son, about the
Tower Records.
Tower Records, which is a much beloved record store franchise that closed down going on almost 10 years ago now. And
it feels like it was longer, but that was the decline started in the 90s, late
early
90s.
2000s is when it really started to get bad, and they hung on till 2006, 2007 maybe. But anybody who's a music nerd who loved collecting music, then especially before and since the whole Napster thing, if you were still a holdout like me who preferred physical media over downloading and everything, it was really crushing to see that go. And then you watch this documentary and you relive its glory days, and gives you a warm fuzzy feeling inside, and then towards the end you see it all start to fall away, and it just makes you feel terrible. But at the same time, it's great that somebody made a document of this. Yeah. And it's highly recommended for any music fans and anybody that loved collecting records. It was a small release. I had to drive out to Pasadena to see it at a little theater, but eventually it'll be
VOD and all that,
and then of course Blu-ray eventually. So highly recommended.
Yeah, a lot of the other podcasts and radio shows that I listen to driving around during the day for work, Colin Hanks was hitting it hard. Yeah, and he is so passionate about this project, and just him and listening to his passion talk about it I can't wait to download it and watch it.
And Chris Hardwick of Nerdist is actually partly responsible for him getting it made, because he was promoting something else and was on Nerdist, and he said, "Yeah, I'm working on this documentary." And Chris told him, "Hey, you should check out like crowdfunding or something if you're having trouble getting it made." He did that, and now it's made. So he came back on Nerdist to promote it, and thank Chris profusely, for helping him out there.
Yeah, it was a good episode. That was a good Nerdist.
Nerdist is also responsible for the X-Files TV show coming back, correct. Because he was just talking to Gillian Anderson, and she's like, "Do you think there'd be an audience for that?" And sure enough, yeah.
Hashtag X-Files 2015.
Yep.
We got to get the cast of Firefly back on Nerdist.
Oh, boy.
Somebody trolled our website a week or so ago with a Firefly season 2 renewal, or
that thing.
It was so disappointing.
Yeah.
Wait, so that's not going to happen?
Did you click on the link? Are you one of these people that just reads?
Oh, yeah,
are you
no,
one of
no,
these
no.
fundamentalist Christians that just reads
I am.
link
I am.
titles
I shared
but
it.
doesn't
I shared
actually
it 5 times.
click on it to
Shared it
read
5
the
times.
actual?
Why
Well,
read
you
it?
just
The-
read
You'll
Like
never
everybody.
believe what this pastor did. That's all I need to know.
That son of a bitch.
There goes our fundamentalist Christian audience.
lost
By
it
both
now.
of them. Well, they were both the two guys on Twitter also,
okay.
so it's
Well,
Well,
all
you know,
right.
Twitter and Christians go hand in hand. Honest, I don't know.
I
Now
don't-
we've lost everybody.
I don't think you have any math or
I
science
have
to back
evidence to
that
back
up.
that up. I sure. No, I don't.
All right,
No, I
all
really
right.
don't.
We're gonna way go off on a side road. We don't want to right now.
Or do we?
No, you can check out our podcast, Atheists with Attitude, if you want to have that one. No, let's just bypass that. Go right into toys.
Yay.
What's that? The skull-headed Vader. That's what I'm calling him. Star Wars,
For better or worse.
for better or worse, will release a version of everything.
Of course they will.
Everything.
Except Slave Leia's.
Oh, we can't
Sister.
call her that anymore. Can't call her anything now. That's it. She's gone.
Indentured servant Leia.
Yeah. So
Screw that. It's slave
if
Leia.
you remember at
Midriff
the
layout.
end of Return of the Jedi, when Vader finally has his turning point, and he picks up the Emperor to throw him into a pit, and for I think maybe
2
2
seconds.
seconds of screen time, you briefly see the skull of Vader as he's being hit with lightning show through his helmet.
Yeah.
So now you have a toy of that that one short moment in that movie. It's a 6-inch Black Series Darth Vader, but with a new head. It's a clear head. It's kind of purple plastic.
Yeah, that
and
purplish
And you
see-through.
can kind of see his skull on the inside
Does
of
it light up? Does it have like a little lightning effect?
No.
Nope. It's just, well, first of all, we tell them where you can get it, right? At
Oh.
Walgreens.
Walgreens. Yep.
Yes, Walgreens exclusive. Oh, yes.
Why'd you tell everybody?
No, but the Ant-Man exclusive was at Walgreens, and
Yeah.
I still see those. So I think
Yeah,
they've
I
been
mean, it
doing
just
all
gets
right
flooded.
getting those. So
You
Dollar
won't
Tree
find
and
it for
Family
about a
Dollar
first
had
week.
the little 3.75-inch figures back in stock before I saw anywhere else.
those are called 3 3/4. Okay,
You know what?
That was
Listen, I
actually
bought 3
surprising when
more.
I saw that post you did.
Yeah, I was like, holy crap. I went down there, bought 2 more, so.
The Dollar General had the real good modern GI Joes a couple of years back. So every once in a while they get out to those
Yeah.
cheaper chains. So So skull-headed Vader. If you're interested, that'll be coming out.
Same product, more profit.
Yep, and seriously, just remake the same
Yeah.
body that you had before and put a new head on it. So, all right, then let's talk about Transformers. We have a Transformers expert sitting at the table, Austin,
He's geeking out.
and you demanded, nay, insisted, same thing. You want to talk about the Transformers Titan series that's coming out? There's been some leaked photos and some information.
Well, at first they were leaked very low quality, but then Hasbro themselves. Well, what happened was Hasbro got with a lot of major fan sites and shared pictures, and then said in 24 hours you can release these through your websites. But before that 24-hour embargo ended, some very low-res, crappy copies made it out, so everybody started spazzing. But then they finally came out, and we're getting some awesome product next year. Combiner Wars is shifting to Titan Wars, and what that means is it's going to go a little bit more in the Headmaster, Target Master direction, and we're getting more giant, what they call Titans now, like Metroplex, like we had a couple of years ago.
Sweet.
So there's a Fortress Maximus coming,
Okay,
and
which looks like Optimus is part of.
no,
Do I have that wrong? In school me because I don't know.
no problem.
Dick
no
about
problem. Fortress
Transformers.
Maximus is another big base type guy like Metroplex. He was a headmaster, actually a double headmaster, but that's a whole side story. But basically, he's going to be a $150 possibly plus toy like Metroplex.
Okay.
And then there's plans to maybe do more of those guys in that scale. And right now there's a fan vote whether you want to have as
Omega
the next
Supreme.
one be Omega Supreme, Trypticon, or Metroplex, or I'm sorry, Scorponok. And I have a feeling we'll get all 3 eventually, and they're just kind of playing with us now, giving us a little bit of, talking about fan service, give
Yeah.
us some input as to what we want to see next. So right now there's an online vote.
I don't think that's a bad thing.
Not at
to,
all.
to
I'll-
find out from even if it's just the most vocal of the collectors and stuff, you'll find out what people are interested
Exactly.
in. What about a Unicron? That would be a nice big.
That would be an eventuality they would have to seriously consider, and I would not be surprised one bit. Maybe a year or two now, and start to get some information. But there's other things coming.
A nice Build-A-Figure Unicron.
Yeah. And then the other things coming. There's a Powermaster Optimus Prime, which is a heavy remod retool what have you, of the Combiner Wars Ultra Magnus.
Okay.
So it's basically the same engineering, but a lot of the parts have been changed. So he looks more like the 1988 Powermaster Optimus Prime compared to the Ultra Magnus. And I think it looks pretty great. A lot of people are complaining that it's just another remod, retool. But, you know, if you don't like it, don't buy it, you know.
Is that the one with the big, like the vent grill going up the front? And
Exactly.
Okay.
So even the cab has been changed from the Ultra Magnus.
I like how the
They've kind
truck
of
on that looks. I'm not a
redecorated
big
it.
fan of the trailer with the big guns and stuff on it, but that's
The
a
robot
personal
mode is the
preference.
most important thing. I'm excited about this because conceptually, this has always been my favorite version of Optimus Prime.
Okay.
I like that he combines with his trailer and it's kind of like a super guy. And I've always been a
Okay.
fan of the whole Masters thing where they combine with a little you know, human guy. I love that whole concept. So I'm pretty excited about this. And then we also have a G2 colored Bruticus gift set coming. And I would imagine they haven't said yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if a G2 colored Defensor is also coming eventually.
Is Defensor the one with the planes?
No, that's the one with all the like the police car and the
Yeah, see, I don't know.
ambulance.
I don't know
and
anything
the
about
fire
that.
truck. Yeah.
I don't know nothing about nothing. I also want to talk about, and you probably will shy away from this, but we have a Lego expert that has a new set out also that I want to give some love to, which is the G1er, which is also Austin.
Thank you.
You
thank
want
you.
in the house?
Tell us a little about the recent sets that you just released this week.
Well, they're not actually released. The pre-order has started.
Right.
No problem.
Misspoke.
No problem.
Pre-order.
I've got a couple of what we're calling the wrestler unit tanks, and that's of course based on a certain recolor subgroup of GI Joe vehicles from the late '80s. Sergeant Slaughter and his crew, the Slaughter's Marauders.
Nice.
When the San Diego Comic-Con set came out this year, I said, you know what, those guys are going to need some rides. So
Yep.
Perfect.
Because they came with the Triple T
Exactly.
at Comic-Con, but then you've got the whole crew. They
But they're in the Slaughter's Marauders
Colors.
camo, so I needed to get vehicles out there. And fortunately, I'd already had created my missile tank, which is based on the Wolverine,
Okay.
and my mini tank, which is based on the Armadillo. So I just had to retool those a bit and recolor them and everything. And
Nice.
as of right now, they're pre-order has started, and first batch will ship in early December. So if you're hoping to get that by Christmas,
Nice. I have a whole bunch of your stuff, which I prefer hands down over the Creo. The quality of the design is so much better. Real quick, while we're talking about Lego stuff, I bought my first McFarlane Toys building block for The Walking Dead.
oh, cool.
Okay.
Garbage.
I have a feeling.
Absolute.
had a
I just
feeling.
saw those at the store, and I was wondering about those. I'm like, what
So
is-
Austin is always because I'm a novice when it comes to the building block stuff. I just kind of got back into it with mostly his stuff, and when the Creo stuff came out just a couple of years ago, I've only got a couple of sets, and I to the novice eye, which is me, I'm like, okay, Creo works just fine, and I'm trying to and like the Call of Duty Mega Blocks work just fine. And I'm trying to always give my extra parts to Austin. He's like, nah, I want to stick with the Lego stuff. It's a better quality thing. And I'm like, okay, I don't really notice the quality. The McFarlane building block stuff, I noticed the quality. These bricks were so hard to put together. They don't fit very well.
Yeah.
And they take away from that whole the aesthetic of trying to design something out of bricks and sort of basic shapes that you have with Legos and stuff. And they've just straight up given you like, here's a solid piece that is the entire desk. Just stick it on two legs.
yeah, I was wondering.
Like
about,
here's
what-
an
where's the
entire
creativity with
boilerplate,
this?
just and like there's
Yeah.
no pegs anywhere because you put solid so it makes a really nice looking little diorama for little tiny figures. But
Yeah.
even the figures that they come with are garbage. They're molded poorly. They don't stand up well, and they're molded just like all other McFarlane toys, where they're basically posed like statues.
Yeah.
Where they have joints, but you don't move them because then
If you breathe, they will snap.
so where like it comes in where it prefers to be with the gun pointing, but if you like move his arm up, now it looks like his shoulder is broken because you've turned the
Double-jointed.
jointed. So yeah, I know they have a bunch of stuff that came out with the prison cell sets
Yeah.
and then the RV and
They're
different stuff
packaged
like that.
nice.
But it's I bought the one. It was on clearance. It's
Yeah.
the boiler room because I
Okay.
wanted to
I
use.
just saw that one.
I
That's
wanted
what
to use.
saw
You
in
can
the
see it
RV.
on Nerds with Attitude Instagram.
Okay.
Because I wanted to try it out as a little diorama for like Firefly setting a bomb, the Creo stuff. I wanted to use it as a backdrop piece.
Yeah.
So I got it. It was on sale. It was like I ended up paying like $12 or $15 for it, which is fine. And I will never buy any of their stuff ever again. It's horribly made, and yeah. So that's my review on on that. So just to give you a heads up. So now I know what you're talking about, Austin, with the difference between quality made with like Lego and a subpar set.
I never want to come off as an elitist or purist or anything, because you know I'm not just Lego. I like to mix in Creo and other things when the quality's there, and sometimes they make special pieces where you can just one little special piece might add some extra oomph to your model you're making. But if you don't make the basic blocks of a certain quality, it becomes useless. And a lot of companies over the years have gotten into the game and quickly gotten out, because there's even Creo, which I think is about 95% Lego quality. Even they have trouble keeping the line going. So
right. And with Creo, the only problem I had was when the Terradrome set. There one little single square piece with a hook on it. It was molded poorly and wouldn't go on. And actually, I got a spare one from you, Austin. So.
I used the Creo. There was a police station zombie attack thing. I don't know if you've seen this. Yeah. But it has a little vibrating bass, and it vibrates and the creatures move and it makes sounds. Really good quality. I was very surprised. I built the whole thing for my son.
How much has he played with that?
Well, how many pieces is it in now? All over his room? Yeah. It was great. I was really surprised. I mean, the mechanism didn't really work all that great, but you have to have really good batteries because it runs down real quick.
Yeah.
But it good quality, good build, good stickers. Usually the stickers are kind of worked out really well. I was surprised
I got a bunch of extra of those bases. I need to throw them up on my online store and try to blow them out. Because I got no use for them.
So let's transition now into video games. There've been a couple of big releases this month: Fallout 4, Star Wars Battlefront. I think that those are probably the big two.
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty Black Ops 3.
Yeah.
No, that one I haven't played yet. I've never been a Fallout fan, and all of my friends who are Fallout fans I haven't heard from in 2 weeks since the game came out, so I'm assuming they're either dead or still playing.
Yeah.
But Star Wars Battlefront,
okay.
I know a bunch of us here at the table have it or are going to get it.
Hopefully.
I'm hoping to play it later today.
We are, after this podcast records, going to just transition right over to the PS4.
And you guys at home aren't. So
I would play along with us. I'll just say quickly, Battlefront for Star Wars has been a lot of fun. Definitely needs that multiplayer experience. Some of the levels are geared. They're a little hard to do solo, or they're a little boring to do solo.
Yeah.
So I think definitely...
You said solo.
So they're...
You're welcome.
They definitely... lean towards wanting to have like your friends play with you and call out, like, are you go cover that and I'll cover this and attack from that sides, and because some of them they're like the see how long you're going to have last through the level, like, are just completely impossible by yourself, and so you definitely need the multiplayer for that.
Teamwork.
Now, I know you recently got the PS4.
Yes, because my wife is awesome.
Definitely.
And got it for me as an anniversary present.
Yay.
/ early birthday present.
I was going to ask, did you get just the Vader edition or the Vader edition that came with the downloadable extra games from that?
Yeah, so I got the PS4 that has Vader's face on it. Came with a Vader controller.
Okay.
Nice.
Which has like red and blue and white buttons on it, kind of reminiscent of his chest pad.
Okay.
And then it came with 4 vintage Star Wars games from
PS2.
From the different
download.
PS lines.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, the Jedi Starfighter.
Does it have Master
Pod Race one.
Were you ever a big fan of that back in the day?
I never even had a PlayStation until my PS3.
Okay.
And even that I got just a couple of years ago to play Call of Duty on.
Yeah.
And I would play I think to this day I only own like six games for it.
Okay.
I'm not a huge gamer. Like, I'll pick a game and I'll stick with it for 6 months.
Yeah.
And get another game, stick with it for 6 months, because that's about all the time that I have, is just a little bit here and there. So what I have been playing is the Toy Soldiers War Chest edition that has the G.I. Joe and the Cobra in it, along with He-Man and Assassin's Creed.
right.
And we'll be playing that later today also, and it is fucking awesome. It is so much fun. So, we'll talk about, because I know Scott, who isn't here for this podcast, has this, Battlefront. A couple of other guys have it.
Yeah.
So we'll cover Battlefront in detail on a future podcast.
Yeah. Next month.
Comics. G.I. Joe, Street Fighter team up. IDW is doing another title team up, basically.
Because those toys worked so well in the early 90s.
Yeah, well, what was it, 93, 94? I'm sure a nerd will correct me on that. Where G.I. Joe, or Hasbro licensed the Street Fighter title or property, and just used a lot of the G.I. Joe toys, a lot of the body parts, some new molds for someone like E. Honda had definitely. That was body had never existed before. New heads and stuff, but same body, same like the Dreadnought Thunder Machine and stuff like that. Just a lot of recolors on stuff. So so the Street Fighter and G.I. Joe have existed in the same world previously. Now it's going to be as a comic. They did Danger Girl versus G.I. Joe, or Danger Girl and G.I. Joe as a team up about 2 years ago, and that I think went very well. So
Well, I mean, that was more on the similar, like, spy, espionage, military. So yeah, I mean, it's going to go together. But I don't know comic wise.
I don't know. I mean, you've got kung fu with some of the characters. You've got Guile, who's military, and I mean,
are they going to turn them into Arashikage members? I mean, really?
Jesus Christ. Everyone.
Ninja Force.
Exactly.
After Retaliation, it's like Oprah. You're a ninja, and you get to be a ninja, and you get to be a ninja.
Scarlet as a ninja.
Can I be a ninja?
Never got that.
I liked that. She trained and had something in common with Snake Eyes, but the declassified that IDW did for Scarlet that shows sort of her karate upbringing and her relationship with her father and her sister and stuff. It's a really good backstory that they wrote for her. So
Well, my question for this is: are they going to incorporate some of like the purple snowcat and stuff into this comic? And what is the story going to be?
Like what are the visuals be?
Are these Street Fighter characters like a group of bad guys that G.I. Joe has to fight when Cobra's not around? Or
so according to comic book resources, Cobra will join up with Bison and Shadow Lu, forming an unholy alliance that will only be stopped by the combined skills and strategies of G.I. Joe and the World Warriors. So it's that classic. It's just like G.I. Joe versus Transformers.
Okay, so see, I'm not that familiar with Street Fighter as a game. So there's good guys and bad guys in that universe.
Yeah, there's two factions.
Okay, so that makes sense.
Much like the cinematic masterpiece of Street Fighter the movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme and
Still,
Raul
the
Julia.
only cool thing was
Poor
E.
man,
Honda.
the last movie that man ever did before he died. And I think it's what killed him, personally. I think Street Fighter killed Raul Julia.
I'm going with it. You know what?
Well, I guess that leaves me hope that hopefully that we do get to see the ultimate team up of G.I. Joe and Captain Planet, because you get Eagle Force in it.
The power is yours.
Exactly.
Captain Planet.
Good God.
That John Cheadle, we're gonna post that John Cheadle video again.
That is
Funny or Die
fantastic.
did as Captain Planet.
Yeah,
Say trees, motherfucker, or whatever. I'm quoting it wrong. You probably know by now that I'm terrible at quoting. So finally is the death of Namor. Aquaman is there can only be one.
Well, he is the.
There's a whole lot of fish in the sea. I mean, well, there's plenty of room
Now
for
there's
both
one
of them.
less.
Well, I mean, Namor was, for all intents and purposes, he was the first mutant, really, in the Marvel Universe. Mutant character. So it really
Patient Zero.
doesn't exactly surprise me, being how its affiliation with Fox, who currently owns the production rights to them, though. Kind of like what they did with X-Men. Kind of like phasing them out. Really don't want to use them right now. And then maybe if Disney, Marvel reacquires them somewhere down the road, then maybe they could incorporate him, though. So it's followed in the same vein as Fantastic Four went away, shut down their comic book. So just a way of like, oh, we can't use them, so bye-bye.
Now, who do you figure is the bigger joke of the sea, Aquaman or Namor?
Aquaman.
Aquaman?
Yeah. Okay, so apparently Namor is going to be killed off in the first issue of Squadron Supreme.
I hear there's going to be a CW show with him in it.
Yeah, it'll be very short-lived. Yeah, the CW just does comic book shows now.
Let's take this and we'll use this and run it into the ground.
So apparently, according to the online, apparently Namor has sort of gone kind of dark in the last couple of years. He's sort of an anti-hero, and so it's really not a huge. It's not like they're killing off Superman or something. It's just,
it's caused because he's gone turned.
Yeah, I think it's just not that hot of a property anymore. Also, ever since Leonard Nimoy turned down playing him in the TV show.
Yeah.
Do you know that story?
No, I do not.
Why Spock has pointy ears?
No.
Is Leonard Nimoy was shooting the pilot for a Namor television show.
Okay.
And he had the audition.
Namor.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he had the audition for Star Trek, but he was already in full makeup, and Namor has the pointed ears.
Yeah.
He didn't want to get out of makeup, so he just went to the audition
And
for
history was made.
Spock, who's still wearing the pointy ears, and boom, Vulcan history, and he
Nice.
got the role and had to keep the ears from that point on. But Namor, the TV show, never happened.
Okay.
So now you know.
So it didn't
And
live
no one
long and
is
prosper.
half the battle.
G.I. Joe.
I don't think I got that tune
No, you
right
didn't.
at all.
I didn't know there was a tune to it.
Pork chop sandwiches.
What are you doing? Get the fuck out of here. We'll post up some of those too. Those are, oh my God, the PSAs.
Classic.
Just so goddamn good. It made the internet perfect.
Right. Last thing I want to talk about is some news. So we'll check in with the Department of Misinformation. And so you guys let me know what your thoughts are on some of these news stories. First up, Rob Schneider. If you remember him from every Adam Sandler movie.
Deuce Bigelow. Nail Gigolo.
Yep.
Saturday Night
Apparently,
Live.
he has already signed on to do Judge Dredd 2, even though no sequel is currently in the works.
Sounds about right.
Rob,
Yeah, it sounds right.
Rob is excited to get back to work, air quotes, and, quote, pay some bills. Neither Sylvester Stallone nor Carl Urban were available for comment or would return Schneider's calls. So,
You can do it.
I am the dog.
how would you like a Dredd 2 that's just Rob Schneider running around in a trash can full of spaghetti?
Wasn't that his last movie? Honestly,
Probably. I think his last movie was called
Wasn't it
Trash Can Full
Spaghetti.
of Trash
Yeah,
Can
I think
Full
that
of
was his
Spaghetti.
last movie.
All right. Next up, classic rock band Def Leppard are being tapped to provide the score for the upcoming Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 soundtrack. So
Okay.
that's pretty cool. We're honored that James Gunn is considering us for this. I can't read this article at all. We're honored that James Gunn is considering us for this, the one-armed drummer Rick Allen said when asked during a recent press junket in support of the band's latest self-titled album. AC/DC were the highlight for Iron Man, and that movie was absolute bullocks. I cannot wait to see the little raccoon shake his tail to sugar. Allen was stated in reference to the 1987 special hit Pour Some Sugar on Me. So I think Def Leppard doing the soundtrack for Guardians fits perfectly.
Oh, yeah, that'd be perfect.
Now you say, are they doing the score like instrumental backing music, or are
Yes,
they going to do new
absolutely.
songs for it, or just use?
Well,
some
according to
of
this,
their old
it's
songs?
probably, I think they're just licensing a lot of their classic
Violins
stuff.
and
So
I
trumpets.
mean, remember at the end, he opened up that gift from his mom, and it was the
The
Awesome
mi-
Mix Volume 2 tape. So
Right.
he hasn't listened to it yet.
So it's all Def Leppard. It's,
So the first one was 70s. This one's going to go more 80s.
maybe. So in that, was it the first one like late 70s, early 80s when there a
Yeah.
little bit of crossover in there?
It was mostly all 70s.
Was it mostly 70s? All right. Next up, Mariah Carey is to play Commissioner Gordon.
What the fuck?
In the Lego Batman movie,
Okay.
Mariah Carey is going to play the voice of Commissioner Gordon in
Oh my
in another long stream of bizarre casting.
So is she playing a woman, or is she going to talk in man voice?
Well, I think she's going to do, what is that thing where the falsetto or no, that's falsetto. Where she,
The dog whistle?
that she can do that dog whistle singing.
man.
But yeah, she'll join the voices of Ralph Fiennes, Will Arnett, Michael Cera, who will play Robin.
I
Okay.
think it's pronounced Rafe Fiennes.
Rafe Fiennes.
Yeah,
Come
well,
on, get it right.
Okay, well, it's spelled Ralph.
Casual.
So I'm gonna say Ralph, and he can suck it. Rosario Dawson and Zach Galifianakis as the Joker.
Be careful.
Oh,
Isn't
wow.
Rosie O'Donnell doing Alfred? No.
No,
I thought
that's
that was what I read.
Rafe Fiennes.
Oh, that's
Hey,
Alfred.
hey, hey, hey!
Alfred.
Be careful.
So
He's
who's Rosie?
Voldemort.
Oh, Rosie O'Donnell will
get
probably be
you.
the Penguin. That's what she looks like. Just a fat little penguin. Lastly, in movie news, if you know, Hasbro announced in a lot of its recent press releases for IPs that it was renewing, Mask is getting a movie fast track.
Mask. Sorry.
I don't remember that theme song at all. Michael Bay, of course, is in talks
of
to
course.
direct. He says he already has a lot of leftover footage of transforming vehicles from the last Transformers movie, so he should be ready to go.
Yeah, the 16-hour mega cut.
Script is rumored to be about a multinational anti-terrorist group led by Matt Tracker, played by Channing Tatum. to defeat the evil Venom and its leader Miles Mayhem, played by John Goodman.
So that's why they killed Duke, just so he could.
Go into the mask.
Right.
Okay.
Makes sense. Perfect. I'm good. I'm down. Let's do it.
So I'm expecting a lot of
tickets.
explosions. The cars will transform into something completely unrecognizable.
Yeah.
If it won't be a little scooter anymore, right? It'll, the kid has a little scooter that transforms, right?
Yeah. Who'd they get to
And now
play
it'll
the
be like
kid?
a smart car.
Are you thinking GoBots?
No.
No, well,
that was his son. that was
he
his
had
son.
one,
His
like,
son
folded
had
out.
that
He was
little like round
Oh,
robot.
okay. No,
red.
I just remember the red car and the green
Okay.
little motorcycle.
See, what it's going to be now is he's going to turn into a Segway.
It's a Segway. There you go. Yeah.
I'm coming, Dad.
Maybe this will turn into a maybe Mask will transform into a watchable
Hold on,
movie.
I gotta go
so.
recharge.
Not going to hold my breath.
All right. Well, that about wraps it up for our Thanksgiving edition of Nerds with Attitude. I want to thank you guys all for being here. The podcast last couple of
Thank
months.
you, Kevin.
It's
Thank
been
you.
a lot of fun. You are
Yeah.
my podcast family. So thanks, everybody. So we'll go around the table, do our sign-offs, and we'll see you guys in December.
I'm Brian.
It's Migs.
Austin.
Andrew.
All right. And I have been Kevin. All right, guys. Keep it nerdy.
Peace out, yo.
Blah, 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 blah.
BB-8!
Yo, mama.
All right.